So, like we just said, a hemisphere is half of a full sphere. So the formula is 2 times pi times radius cubed divided by 3. Big difference is for the full sphere, it's a 4 there, and here, since it's half of it, it's a 2. Okay? So the first thing we'll do today is we'll do some calculating with that. So let me roll up my sleeves or pull up my sleeves. And volume of this hemisphere is, well, we'll write it in terms of pi first, and then we'll get an answer for that. So it's 2 pi radius cubed divided by 3. So we already have a radius of 6. So it would be, volume is 2, and I'll leave pi as pi to get an answer in terms of pi, times 6 to the third power divided by 3. Do me a favor. Some people have already done it, but has everyone got their calculators? Let's figure this out. It's going to be 2 times 6 times 6 times 6, and then divide that by 3. So let's figure that out. 2 times 6 times 6 times 6 divided by 3, and that'll give us an answer in terms of pi. Make sure you write pi at the end. 6 divided by 3. Did anyone get 144?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, welcome. All right. That up. So let's write that down. 144 pi, and these are inches cubed. So it's cubic inches. So remember on the quiz, if the units aren't there, you'll lose some points for that. So, and it's real easy. Whatever units we're measuring with, in this case inches, it's cubic units, so inches cubed. All right, let's get our answer in terms of with pi in it. So we'll use 3.14. So 144 times 3.14. And let's see what answer we get there. We want it to the nearest tenth. So we want to do 144 times 3.14. Oh, it's exactly, I got 452.16. Okay. So we got two answers here. One in terms of pi, and our estimated answer, which would be useful if we were using this for some sort of real world situation. Okay, let's try the second one. So we got a diameter of 10. So what's our radius in this one? It's 5 feet. It's going to be 5 feet. So let's use that formula again. But we're going to use 5 for the radius. So the volume is 2 times pi times 5 cubed divided by 3. Okay. So let's go ahead and multiply to get that. So what you want to multiply is 2 times 5 times 5 times 5, and then divide by 3. Okay. I got 83.3 repeating. So 83.3 repeating. If you want to write that as a fraction, you would say 83 and 1/3. And this is pi cubic feet. Okay, so that's one answer. The answer in terms of pi. Let's figure this out for an estimate with 3.14. So what you want to do is you want to multiply 83.333333. Just fill it up with threes. And then multiply that times 3.14. And I got 261.67. Anybody else get that? 261.67? Okay, let's write that down. And that's cubic feet. All right. All right. So now we're going to move on to composite figures. So we did composite figures, about a week ago or so. Well, actually a while back because we had break, right? But we did composite figures before. And that's where you take two different solids and put them together. So we're going to just get an estimated answer using 3.14 for pi. And we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay. This is our first. Looks like a snow cone. And what it is, it's basically a hemisphere and a cone. All right. And since we have those two solids, all we really have to do is figure out the volume of each one individually, then add them together, put them together. So let's do that. So let's start with a hemisphere. It's a little tougher. So we're going to find the volume of the hemisphere, add it with the volume of a cone. And so volume of a hemisphere, we just saw is 2 pi radius cubed divided by 3. And we're not going to leave this in terms of pi because we want an actual full numbered answer. So we're going to estimate this. So we're going to use 3.14 right away. So let's see, what do we need to multiply? We need a radius. We got a diameter at the moment, 8. Divide that 16 by 2. We get 8 inches here for the radius. So we'll use that. Radius is 8 inches. So it's going to be 2 times 3.14 times 8 cubed. Divide that by 3. So what we're multiplying is 2 times 3.14 times 8 times 8 times 8, then divide that by 3. Let's go ahead and do all that. We're going to do 2 times 3.14 times 8 times 8 times 8, 3 times, and then divide that by 3. I get this answer. So that's 1071.79. So let's write that down. 1071.79, and that's cubic inches. We're going to add to that whatever we get for the cone. So let's look over the volume. We haven't done a cone in a minute. So it's pi times radius squared times the height, and then divided by 3. Pi times radius squared this time times the height of the cone, and you divide that by 3. Okay? So we do have a height. The height is 14. So let's plug all this in. So we want 3.14 times the radius again is 8 squared times the height, which is 14, and then we divide that by 3. So this time what we're putting in our calculator is 3.14. So punch in 3.14 times 8 times 8 times 14, and then divide that by 3. I got 937.981. 937.81. Hmm. 937.81 cubic inches. Okay, do me a big favor. We want the total volume. The volume in total. Okay, to find the total volume, add these two numbers, please. So take 1071.79, add it with 937.81. So punch that into your calculators, please. Let's see what we get. And that's going to be the volume for the whole composite shape. So punch that in, please. What do we get? Did anyone get 2009.6? And that's cubic inches. So the full answer is 2009.6 cubic inches. All right. So now we're going to practice a few more on the back. 3 more to be exact. Okay, you guys ready? Let's do it. So let's see what we have. We have a triangular prism on top of a rectangular prism. Kind of like, you know what this reminds me of? Has anyone ever been to Texas? Have you ever been to Whataburgers? I've seen it. Yeah. The Whataburger restaurants look like this. Yeah. They got this triangular shape like this. Whataburger. I don't care what people from Texas say. They're not as good as In-N-Out burgers. And proof of that is if you go to San Antonio, the most popular burger restaurant is they opened up 2 In-N-Outs, and they're always lines are like way out there, miles long. Anyways, all right. Let's go ahead and figure this out. Let's start with a harder one, the triangular prism. And we're going to add the rectangular prism. Okay. So the triangular prism, if we look at the formula, things that are triangular, by the way, they always have a half. They always have a half. So triangular prism is 1/2 the base times the height times the length divided by 3. So volume is 1/2. I'm going to put 0.5 times the base times the height, and then, oh, that's triangular pyramid. And that's it. On times the length, I'm sorry. Base times height of the actual triangle, and then the length of the, okay. So we got that. So let's see here. Let's look at our triangular prism. So it's 1/2 the base times the height times the length. So here we have the triangle. We need to isolate the triangle, guys, because we need two parts of this triangle. We need the base of the triangle, and when I say base, I mean this part. Think of it as the bottom that joins up with the height. So what are my numbers for the base and the height for this triangle? Help me out. I can't read that other one. It's 11 and I don't think it isn't it 7 there? 7. And then we need the length. This is the length we want. The length there. How long is that? I don't think this one's. It's 5. You can transfer it. This is 5. So this is 5. So this is 5. That's going to be necessary sometimes on these. So that's going to be 5 feet there. So the numbers we need are 11, 7, and 9. 11, 7, and 9. So 0.5 times 11 times 7 times 5. Okay. Let's go ahead and multiply those. 0.5 times 11 times 7 times 5. And 192.5. And that's cubic feet. Okay. And we're going to add to that the volume of a rectangular prism. That's length times width, and then we call it height. So if we're talking about length, width, and height, it's basically this number, and this number. Here's my length, width, and height. So let's identify those. What numbers for our length? Look at the rectangular prism. Okay, let's go with 5. That means our width has to be 8. And the height of this thing is 15. So we got to multiply those. And that's going to give me 40 times 15, 600 cubic feet. Didn't even need a calculator for that one. Okay, so now if we get the total volume, put those together, volume equals 792.5 cubic feet. All right. Let me pause this for a second. All right. take a look at this next shape. So this solid looks like a capsule pill, right? A little self-control. Got a hemisphere on top, hemisphere on the bottom, and then a cylinder. So we could figure out the volume of the hemisphere and the volume of the other hemisphere. So that'd be two things, and then the cylinder, and you can add up all three. Or, what do two hemispheres make? A sphere. So really, when you have this, you have just a sphere. Top and bottom make a sphere. And then the middle is the cylinder. So let's go ahead and do it that way. Let's figure out the volume of the sphere. And we're going to add that to the volume of the cylinder. So the volume of a sphere is 4 pi radius cubed. Divide that by 3. And let's figure that out. So do we have a radius? Yes. So we can just do this. 4 times pi, which we'll use 3.14, times 7 cubed divided by 3. Okay. Let's calculate those. So we're doing 4 times 3.14 times 7 times 7 times 7, then divided all that by 3. And you get 1,436.02. 0.03, sorry. 0.03. We're rounding it to the nearest hundred. All right, so 1,436.03, and that's cubic yards. All right, cylinder. That's pi radius squared times the height of the cylinder. So we do have a height of 10, and our radius is still 7. So plug all that in. We're going to do 3.14 times 7 squared this time times 10. So on the calculator, 3.14 times 7 times 7 times 10. All right. And that's 1,000. I got 1,538.6. And I see some people shaking their head, so I guess that's correct. Okay. All right. So what did I say? 1,538.6 cubic yards. And let's get the total volume. So do me a favor. Let's add both of these up. I got 2,974.63. Cubic yards. All right, so remember on the quiz, units are going to count. So make sure you select the correct ones. All right, let's go ahead and try the last one. We got a little bit of a problem. We have a hemisphere and then a rectangular prism. What's the issue with the hemisphere? There's no radius, not even a diameter. Or is there? Yes. Why 5? Yeah. Here's the assumption we're going to make. We're going to assume this hemisphere touches end to end along the length here. So that means this length of 5 here is the same here and also here for a diameter. So really we'll say the diameter is 5. So therefore, half of 5 is 2.5. And that's our radius. We're going to say the radius is 2.5. Okay? So we're going to go with that, but it's a hemisphere. So we're going to do a hemisphere. I'll just say hemi plus a rectangular prism. Okay, so we want a volume of 2 times pi radius cubed divided by 3. Let's see, that's 2 times 3.14 times 2.5 cubed, and then divide that by 3. Ooh, that'll be interesting. Oh, lots of calculator work on this one. So we're doing 2 times 3.14 times 2.5 times 2.5 times 2.5. Divide that by 3. I got this answer. 32.71. 32.71. Let's go with that. Okay, rectangular prism. That's length times width times height. That's the easiest one. So we need to identify those. Length times width times height. So it's 5 times 10 times 5. Length times width times height. So 5 times 10 times 5. And that's 250 cubic feet. Okay, so let's get our total volume. Add those up. And that's 282.71 cubic feet. Ta-da! All right. So the assignment today is a CAMI assignment, but I'm going to give you paper.